Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today we're jumping right into Road to Ranked. In the last episode, we used one of the top-ranking Zacian teams from the last season, featuring some really fun support in Iron Ball Grimmsnarl and Expert Belt Pelliper, so we'll be playing a couple more matches with it today. Thank you to Can't Fly once again for the team, details are in the description below, and yeah, let's just get started. We're up against a Groudon team for the first game. Reminds me a lot of Hirofumi's Groudon team with Groudon, Entei, Koko, Incin, but this one is Latias and Venusaur. Okay. What do I want to do here? Incin, Zacian, Pelliper, Lando is interesting. Like, Grim tricking Iron Ball, I think, is also somewhat valuable here. Rillaboom's nice against Groudon, but really terrible against everything else. I don't think we can bring that. Incin Lando lead is actually intriguing to me. No, if I'm my opponent, I'm actually probably leading Entei. I would lead Entei on their end. Incin Grimmsnarl is then also intriguing to me. Then it means I have to drop something. Lando is so good here, I feel like. Earth Power is just great damage output and utility against everything. Maybe I don't bring Grim then. Like, I could go Incineroar, Landorus, Pelliper, or Zacian. Pelliper is really the game changer in this matchup, right? Because if I don't have it, then they just have full command of the weather. But Pelliper allows me to set up the rain to protect my Zacian a little bit more, while also reducing the fire type damage from Pokemon like Entei, for example. So, yeah, this is a really, really solid team. Like I mentioned, one of the top ranked teams from the last season. So, once again, details are in the description below. Thanks to you all, as always, for watching. If you enjoy, please share, support, leave me a like. I'd really appreciate it. And question of the day, I ask this every couple of weeks or so, but, with Series 10 coming to an end soon, I'm curious, what is one set you think people are maybe still sleeping on, or something that you'd recommend people try out? Okay, so that's a really slow Groudon. And they have White Herb. I mean, it's really free for me to switch into Pelliper and just Earth Power Entei, but it's so predictable. Why is their Groudon so slow? It's because we're fast Incin. Still, okay. I mean, because it means I can... I just, don't want to get hit by an Eruption here. I'm just nervous about them switching in Latias on turn 1. So you know what I think I'm going to do? I'm down to switch into Pelliper and go for Earth Power onto the Groudon slot. Yep, there's the switch. That should be Latias if I had to guess. I think that's Latias coming in. Oh, it's Venusaur. Oh, okay. I mean, this works as well. I get Pelliper in safely and change the weather. So, I'll take that. I was also thinking Parting Shot. Or, I feel like if you're not bringing Latias in there, then you just don't have it. Venusaur is just scary because it can Sleep Powder. I'm not sure how fast it is relative to us here. This is going to be a huge Earth Power onto Landorus. Onto Groudon. Yeah, that is so much damage. Oh my goodness. And they actually just Rock Slide. Don't love taking a Rock Slide on Pelliper, but it could have been a lot worse, so it's fine. We want to maintain weather control ideally in this game, so... How fast is Venusaur on their side is the other big part of the question right now. I'm 130 on Lando. Like, the play I'm leaning towards is switching into Incineroar here and going for a sub. I think I'm down for that. Okay, Groudon switches out, that's fine. Into Incineroar. Okay, perfect. So we've confirmed all 4 of my opponent's Pokemon. There's no Latias, which means that Landorus with Earth Power is super, super good for us here. Pelliper is also really good because it hits all 4 of my opponent's Pokemon for super effective damage, but that was a really good Rock Slide by them, so this thing's not nearly as much of an offensive threat right now, unfortunately for us. But this turn should be pretty good unless Venusaur actually outspeeds Lando and has Sleep Powder here and hits the Sleep Powder. Even if that is the case, though, it's not even that bad, TBH. Okay. We are faster. And they just Sludge Bomb Pelliper. Cool, I'll take that turn. That's a lot of damage. Is that Life Orb? It is. Okay, cool. Getting the sub up is absolutely huge, though, because Earth Power kind of just destroys, one-shots everything at this point from my opponent's end. If I'm my opponent, I am switching Incin back out into Groudon, so I'm going to fake out the Venusaur slot right now, and then Earth Power into the Incin slot. Because because we're max speed instant, we're faster here, right? Okay. Are they going for fake out here? Ah. Yeah, I just don't think they have a Landorus-I answer in this game if you don't bring the Latias, which is exactly why I wanted to prioritize it. And the fact that it outspeeds everything here is so big. Like, I just don't think my opponent can... Especially with us having Substitute. Like, I'm glad we get to feature Landorus-I a little bit more today, because it was not super relevant yesterday. I don't think we brought it out in any of the games. But it is just a nightmare for my opponent to go up against. The main thing I was worried about was, like, Latias completely walls it. We can Sludge Bomb it, but that doesn't do much. We can't poison it either because of our ability. But, like, the thing is, now, you bring out Groudon, sure, but... Venusaur did not protect last turn. Instin's not even that important for us right now, to be honest, right? Like, I'll have Weather Control after this turn if I pick up 1 KO, and since we're faster with Instant, I'm actually down to Flare Blitz Groudon. And just Earth Power into Venusaur. If Venusaur knocks out Instant, Groudon breaks my sub. Sure, that's fine. Perfect, and they protect. Nice. The main thing here is, yeah, I didn't want to Earth Power Groudon and then switch the Instant out into Pelliper. They do go for Earth Power, though, so they didn't, yeah. They basically went in on that turn expecting me to not switch out, but that's fine, right? Because now what? I KO the Venusaur, and I have Pelliper in the end game. Pelliper was so crucial for weather control in this game, right? Like, even if it doesn't do any damage... First of all, it's a huge offensive threat to my opponent's entire team. So, in this game, it wasn't able to deal damage, but that's because my opponent made a very nice play of clicking Rock Slide on turn 1. Like, we didn't even need Zacian in this game, which is wild to think about. But now we just bring Pelliper out. We have full weather control, which is exactly what we were looking for this entire game. That's probably AV Entei. I don't really think Entei can deal much damage into Pelliper, and I'm content just clicking Earth Power into Groudon here, because it already committed to Protect last turn. I think, like, actually, it might be fine to just Weather Ball here, because Entei's not winning a 2v1. Their win con, I would think, is double Protect with Groudon, one-shot Pelliper here, but they actually just forfeit. Okay. Even if they got the double Protect off, like, Lando just completely demolishes that one. So with the sub up, I think, like, their options were relatively limited. That's why I wanted to Weather Ball there, by the way. And an endgame scenario like that, like, if... The one thing you always want to be careful about is, like, doubling up into something that just protected. Because, like, if they get a double protect, then, like, let's say they have E-Speed, they E-Speed to break Lando's sub, and then crit E-Speed the next turn, then it might actually be potentially winnable if the Groudon's faster than Pelliper and you flinch with Rock Slide. Like, I still feel like, you know, the game was pretty much over, but it's never over until it's actually over, so you always want to just consider literally the worst-case scenario, because that's, yeah, the easiest way you can lose in Pokemon, which is, like, just not considering something and then getting surprised by it. But ultimately, we just have a significant matchup advantage here, and them not bringing Latias made the game significantly more difficult for them. Like, I don't think you could really bring Koko in that matchup, but Latias at least, like, offers a switch into Earth Power. As soon as they confirmed all 4 of their Pokemon, it was like, okay, now I know that the Landers can literally just Earth Power everything. And then the fact that we were also faster than Venusaur was really nice, right? So, like, didn't have to worry about a Sleep Powder, for example. I'm curious if they even have Sleep Powder on it, because they revealed Earth Power, Sludge Bomb, surely a Grass-type attack, and then Protect would make sense. And one thing I didn't really talk about is the fact that they had a Tapu Koko on their team, and that normally sets up the electric terrain. Well, I mean, always does when you bring it out. And as a result, then it's kind of counterintuitive, because then you can't put your opponent's Pokemon to sleep if they're grounded and the electric terrain is up. Sleep Powder would still be valuable into non-grounded Pokemon, but yeah, like, given that they were Life Orb as well, or even before we saw the Life Orb, like, you could maybe deduce that they actually didn't have Sleep Powder. But either way, you always just want to play around that option, because sometimes people in team building will try to do that intentionally to, you know, make you think a certain thing, or let, like, they can bait you into thinking they don't have Sleep Powder and then actually have it, and that would be really scary. But let's get into this next one. It's Calyrex Shadow Rider with Hydreigon. Okay. They have a Lecky. So yesterday when I went up against Calyrex Shadow Rider, like, Incin was really the MVP because they had safety goggles into Amoonguss, but, like, here, there's no Amoonguss. Grim with Light Screen is probably going to be the most essential thing because so much of my opponent's damage is special. I'm thinking, I'm not selecting it yet, but Grim, Zacian, Lando, Pelliper. Pelliper's the wild card here. Because it's really good damage-wise in Rillaboom and Incineroar, and it has Wide Guard as well, but it just gets one-shot by Alecki, so, like, Rillaboom's probably the safer bet. Seems okay to me. The thing with if I'm my opponent... Okay, let's think from their perspective. What would I bring? I would not bring Hydreigon. That seems very bad into dual fairies. And I probably wouldn't bring Nihilego either. So it'd be double Fake Out with Rillaboom, Incineroar, Regieleki, and Calyrex. Double Fake Out. And the thing with this is I could double Protector one, even maybe Trick onto Regieleki. Honestly, think I do want to bring Pelliper. It might be a mistake, because Rillaboom is so good into Regieleki and Calyrex Shadow Rider, but I'm going to try it out and see how it goes. Yeah. Like, one of the fun things about Pokemon is always, like, even if you don't get Team Preview 100% correct, like, you can figure out ways to win, even if, like, the Pokemon you brought are suboptimal, right? Now, obviously, you ideally get Team Preview correct every time and just, like, nail it right from the start, but that's not always going to happen. They go with Rillaboom, Regieleki. Okay. So, Zacian isn't threatened immensely by damage. Turn 1, what we can actually do is double Protect. The thing here is that getting Iron Ball onto Regieleki is actually very valuable for us, in my opinion. But we could also one-shot it with a Play Rough. That's the other thing. This turn is also interesting, because you can only Fake Out one of my 2 Pokemon. So, you can actually get a Light Screen up. I lean towards double Protecting here, to be honest. Mainly because you never expect Protect on Grim. And, like, this just guarantees that I can Light Screen Play Rough the next turn for, like, no cost. The only issue is, like, thinking about whether or not I actually need to do that, but I think I'm down for it. Yeah. They could hard switch Instant in one of the slots is the problem right now, but they stay in with both good. Okay. It's funny seeing Grimmsnarl's Protect go off first because of Prankster, despite it having Iron Ball. So they went for Fake Out into Zacian, and then Volt Switch? Yeah. That was probably a Volt Switch into Incineroar. Okay. I am down to get a Trick onto the Regieleki right now, because if I take away your item and throw an Iron Ball into you, this means that you're much less of a threat to Pelliper, which I brought in the back. Alternatively, I can switch into Landorus. Also kind of want a Light Screen here. I don't know. Getting, like... I'm just nervous about Glide and... Okay, yeah. I'm gonna Trick here. And go for a Behemoth Blade onto Rillaboom. Okay, they stay in with Bolt. So we finally get a Trick off. I feel like yesterday I tried using Trick so many times, but it never actually went off because of all these switches into Incineroar. Focus Sash. Okay. Wait, I am... Okay, we don't KO Rillaboom. Doesn't Iron Ball speed not apply until the next turn? Because I would have expected Regieleki to outspeed us there, but... Is that just full instance? It's the same effect. Oh, no. It's Iron Ball. It's not the same effect. Oh, I messed up there then. I definitely messed up. I mean, it's actually not that big of an issue, to be honest, but that could have been a better played on my end, because what I actually could have ended up doing was just knocking out Regieleki in one shot, denying them anything, and then getting a free knockout. Yeah, I feel like this whole time I've been using this team, I was just equating it to full instance, but Iron Ball's speed drop applies immediately, which is really cool. Okay. Now what? I have Focus Sash. They got Calyrex in. I didn't one-shot them. I have Light Screen. Double Protecting here is pretty safe. It's not fully safe because they could pressure with, I'm just nervous. If Rillaboom outspeeds Grimmsnarl here and Glide one-shots us, that's really bad. So I lean towards double Protecting, but if they substitute there, it's a disaster. I mean, if I knocked out Regieleki there, I don't think it would have really made that much of a difference. Nah, it would enable Pelliper a little bit more, I suppose. Oh, they actually protect. Okay. I'm okay with that. I just, yeah, and glide into Grim. Does that KO us? is the question. They also don't know whether or not I have Sucker Punch or not, so Calyrex honestly has to respect that in this position. I think we survive a Grassy Glide here, so I'm down a Light Screen and go for a Behemoth Blade onto Calyrex. If we don't survive Glide, though, that's obviously bad. Yeah, they switch out respecting Sucker Punch. Okay, into Incin. That makes sense. So they brought all the Pokemon we expected them to. But if I get Light Screen up there, it dramatically decreases your damage output, and it puts Landorus in a pretty prime position. Yep, they are faster. I could have went for Play Rough there. That is still enough for KO. Okay, that's not good. The only upside right now is that I have double substitute potential. Or I can just bring in Pelliper. If I bring in Pelliper, though, they can still get a Glide off before they faint. And I think Sub is actually so valuable for us right now. I was hoping to survive Grassy Glide there. I don't know what the damage roll is, but we don't have... We're plus special defense, not defense. So, it's not natural to survive... yeah. For them to not KO. Or, sorry, for them to KO. Okay, I'm down to... Yeah, I think if we need to win this game, it's going to be through smart substitutes right now. I also have Wide Guard on Pelliper in the late game, which is obviously going to be valuable, but not getting Light Screen up there is not great. It's the last turn of Grassy Terrain, so what we can do here is protect with Lando and Sub, I think. Because Grassy Terrain expires after this turn. The other thing is they could just, like, switch out their Rillaboom with U-turn or Hard Switch. That would be a good play on their end. I'm trying to think if I could have, like, done anything more with the Iron Ball stuff. I think if I had clicked Light Screen first, and then they bring out the Calyrex, then I could have done stuff. Oh, this is a very good play. Okay, but they bring in Regieleki. You know what? This is fine, because your Regieleki is very slow right now. And if I get Sub up here, which I now definitely will. Okay, this is actually fantastic. That could not have played out any better, I think. Because I just got a free Sub up with Zacian. Now, I'm obviously at neutral, so I'm not dealing that much damage. But play rough now that we know all of my opponent's Pokemon is consistent across the board. And terrain just expires now. So that's obviously really good. You're Iron Balled up. Do I even outspeed Regieleki with Iron Ball? If it's 277, I don't. Zacian will. Protecting Zacian here invalidates Regieleki completely, but I also think I wanted to get a substitute right now with the Landorus. I would think Rillaboom wants to switch right now. I'm down to sub and play rough into Regieleki. They forfeited. I mean, I guess they weren't in a great position, but, like, you still had a Calyrex Shadow Rider in the back. Okay. I guess that last turn just went so poorly for them, like, they felt like the ability to not win from that position was slim. And granted, it would have been pretty difficult, but I don't know, I feel like with Calyrex and Astral Barrage being a spread type attack, like, there's always so much comeback potential with that Pokemon. So, I'll take it. Today's episode really highlights the value of Substitute as well as this Landorus in general. So, yeah, I'm just trying to think now, because I definitely have not fully utilized Iron Ball. Like, the idea behind it is that you can cheese a knockout immediately by tricking the Iron Ball and going for a KO, which I think is really cool. And it's something that I didn't fully pick up on when I was covering this team yesterday. We're up against another Pelliper Zacian team here. This does not look fun. I mean, the team looks really fun, but the matchup looks scary for us. It's the Ludicolo. I mean, it's the whole team. This is a really cool way to run Zacian. Pelly Ludi. And it makes sense. Like, you already have Pelliper on the team. The issue is that our Zacian doesn't necessarily even deal that much damage. I think I need to set up screens here, but Iron Ball can be valuable as well. It's just figuring out who not to bring. I think we need Lando, and I feel like we have to bring Incineroar here. So I drop Pelliper and Rillaboom. The question is whether or not that's the right decision. Pelliper doesn't really offer us much into I mean, it does really good damage across the board here, actually. But, like, how can I justify bringing it over everything else, right? This can set up Light Screen. This can Intimidate. There is a world in which we drop Incineroar for Pelliper. I just don't think that's the correct decision here. Especially because one of the main win cons is setting up Landorus and getting a sub up. Or just intimidating Zacian so that they can't one-shot us with Behemoth Blade. Although this Landorus is pretty bulky. Maybe we don't even need the Intimidate, but... I think, I don't know, Pelliper does so much damage, but the tough thing is playing around the win con of... Playing around the win con of, like, knocking out Latias as soon as I can. And as you can see, they don't lead it, so if they have it in the back, it's like Pelliper's life becomes way more difficult. They're gonna go with Ludi and Zacian. Okay, what do I want to do here? I don't think you can trick onto Zacian, right? I'm, like, barely sure about that, but it's actually not something I've ever confirmed in-game, because I've always thought you can't. Turn 1, if I'm my opponent, I'm going just for Fake Out onto Zacian, Blade onto Grim. I guess I'm down to just Protect here, actually, and switch Grimmsnarl out into Incineroar. They could read this and double up onto the... Like, I also could have double Protected turn 1. You know what could have been a better play? Double Protect turn 1, because you never expect Protect from Grimmsnarl, and then the subsequent turn, I can just go for the switch it into Instant and then play Rough Ludicolo. I think that would have been better. We'll see. They could Swords Answer sub with their Zacian here, which would also be bad. Yep, so there's Fake Out. That's fine. That was expected. Okay, they revealed their Life Orb. Uh-oh. That was an aggressive play by them, but it pays off very heavily. And it's aggressive because if I just play rough there, they could be in some trouble. But now I am in danger. Oh boy. I feel like I need to make a big play this turn, basically. Well, actually, never mind. I have sub here. So sub and just going for Fake Out here. The issue with sub Fake Out is if Ludi just scalds the Zacian slot. Which is definitely a possibility. Okay. I'm going for sub, but I don't love this. That was a nice play by them turn 1. Yeah, they didn't protect. I was also thinking of just going for Blade, but I don't think it KOs, so I'm not sure that's worth it. The issue is that they're faster with us here. Faster than us here. It's Muddy Water. Okay, that's a disaster. Because it breaks the sub and damages instant. That honestly should win them the game. Man, this is such a cool duo. And the thing is, if I bring Pelliper, I also enable Ludi, so I can't really afford to do that. They just had a standout turn 1. And I didn't bring any water resist, but like, what are my water resists? It's Rillaboom, but am I going to bring Rillaboom into a Zacian matchup? Probably not. In a best of 3, this is an example where like maybe you can make an argument for it. Unless we've been speed tying with Zacians the whole time, but there's just like very little shot that's been the case. Okay, I'm going to protect. Yeah, I don't really see any out here now. I mean, Muddy Water isn't even that surprising. I guess I needed to play rough last turn. Protect and switch out, but I just... The Zacian now at +2 just KOs everything, so I can try to dance around it, but I don't see a good solution here. Okay. Yeah, they do Blade. I'm gonna just confirm the Iron Ball mechanic, because this is the best time to do so. But I'm like 99% sure we can't trick onto it. But I think this game is kind of lost anyway. Well, could switch into Instant here. Yeah, just because there's literally no other play to go for right now, I just want to confirm this mechanic. It's something that I really should know, and like I said, I'm pretty sure it doesn't work, which is why I wasn't initially angling for it, but this is a good time to actually confirm whether or not that's the case. They switched Ludi out, that's interesting. Into their Instant, okay. There's actually a shot we can win this then. I wonder if they protect Zacian here. The turn 1 play was just so well done on their end. Yeah, it doesn't work, right? Okay, glad I can confirm that. That is greedy. Wow. Actually, it's not greedy at all. We weren't threatening them with damage at all. This is actually the safest time to go for another Swords Dance. Well done. Although, to be honest, I feel like they would one-shot everything at that point anyway. Okay, so at least we know we have a fast Fake Out right now. This Grimmsnarl is completely useless right now. I can't Trick onto either Pokemon. Okay, I actually think there's maybe a small window of opportunity to win this game, though, so I'm not going to give up. I'm going to Fake Out into Zacian and then switch Grim out into Lando. What could I have done here? It's not a Pokemon diff, right? Like, it's not like Rillaboom offers me anything. Okay. The issue... I am intimidated. That's the issue. I just wonder, maybe there's a chance +1 Blade doesn't KO Landorus because they don't have full attack investment. So the play I'm leaning towards here is going for Fast Parting Shot and Protect, bring them back to +2, and then switch an Instant to get them to +1. I was also thinking of just going all in and just Earth Powering with Lando here, but that is so risky if you allow that to happen. Yeah, you just can't. I could have brought Pelliper out in this game. But if they play rough, Pelliper poorly, like, unfortunately just gets dunked on anyway, right? I think I have to go into Zacian here. I wouldn't be surprised if they Parting Shot that slot, but I don't think I have a choice here. But if I Parting Shot, they just go into Ludi. It's the dual Fake Out plus the faster Zacian. Okay, it's U-turn. It's probably AV then. You just go into Ludi, right? Now you click Fake Out. And it's like, I can intimidate the Zacian all I want, but I'm not dealing damage to it. I need one big attack. The main misplay this game was going for that substitute. I kind of greeted it that turn, and I think if I went for Behemoth Blade, I wouldn't even say we're in a better spot, because I don't think it's not going to one-shot the Zacian, but at least gets damage onto it, right? Okay, so now they are at +2. I can get it down to +1 with an instant switch in. I just protected the Landorus, so you can very easily Fake Out into Zacian now. And target Lando. I just don't see a path to victory. I need my opponent to misplay, I think, to win, but... What is that misplay? It's always Fake Out Zacian, target Lando here, right? Okay. So I'm thinking here, I sack Incin to get another Intimidate on them, and then... Whoa, that is not the play I was expecting. Oh, that is really cool. You bring in Pelliper to set up the rain to enable Ludicolo to be a sweeper. I love that. It's a little bit risky because you can miss Muddy Water, but even a miss here is not the end of the world. Okay, but this actually, I think, opens up the game again, because now you don't have this Zacian that's just threatening me, and I've got this Grimmsnarl with Trick. So I can get the Iron Ball actually onto Ludicolo and then just play Rough It for a KO the subsequent turn. Yeah, I want this to hit Instant, I think. It was so bad on my end to sub that turn. I needed to play Rough, the Ludi, or Behemoth Blade, but I just got greedy, and it didn't make sense to greed there. So that one turn really cost me a lot, but that's fine. Yeah, I think now that they've switched out the Zacian, there's maybe a shot. This is just where, like, our Grim doesn't provide us any speed control, unfortunately, into their Zacian. So I'm thinking here I just go for the Trick and the Behemoth Blade, or sorry, the play rough play. I could have bladed there. Oh, okay, they bring it Instant. Yeah, they're playing this game spectacularly. That's always the play, too, because you already saw that I tried to go for Trick earlier. They just have a lot more damage than I do. And that's actually really good damage in Instant. Almost a 2-hit KO. And they've got Weather Ball Pelliper as well. That's sick. Doesn't KO Zacian, but that's a lot. That's a lot. Yeah, I don't see much of a path to victory now. They did so well. They played so well. I'm just trying to think what I could have done better. The sub turn was obviously big, but even then, like, ugh. Did they tail in here? Even red insulate protect. It doesn't matter though at this point. I think like, wow, that does so much damage. It's incredible. Because I don't have Swords Dance. I guess I can hope to crit a play rough and hope they're not Focus Sash here. But I think this game is essentially over. There's not even a misplay that can allow me to win the game, right? I'll play this turn out, but I think after this turn it's basically over. I'll take Pelliper's item away, finally. So Grim ended up being completely useless for me, right? Like, I can't control the speed into Zacian. I mainly brought it for light screen into Ludi. But, like, was that even worth it in the end? I don't think so. I needed to definitely attack more with Zacian. It was just the pressure of Swords Dance. Their turn 1 play, like, they made a slightly risky play by going for... Because they ended up clicking Fake Out in the non-Zacian slot, right? If I just bladed turn 1, like, this is a very different game. But obviously, I risk a Fake Out and blade onto my slot. The thing is that maybe I didn't need to be very afraid of that because I get an Intimidate off to start the game. So it's like, even if you double up onto my Zacian with the Fake Out and a blade, it's not the end of the world. But that was one in which their lead was just better, right? So, they led Ludi plus Zacian. Well, what's my answer against that? Yeah, I'm going to forfeit here, but I just want to quickly look at their team and then think about it. Ludi plus Zacian. I can't go Pelliper, really. I guess I could. Pelliper's not bad defensively into that. Don't love Incin, but leading Grim was the mistake, actually, because it had nothing into Zacian. So I can't lead Grim. If I were to play that again, yeah, I think I absolutely have to keep Grim in the back, at least. Incin Zacian would have been my best bet, at least, where we can trade fake outs. And actually, my Incin's faster. Like, it's fast, so it might actually outspeed Ludicolo pre-rain. Meaning I can fake out Ludicolo. So if I were to replay that, I'd go Incin, Zacian, Landorus. I don't even think I bring Grimmsnarl. I drop that completely. And I probably bring Pelliper over it, just because that can at least deal damage and, like, can potentially wall Zacian. I just don't know whether or not his play rough or not. But Grim didn't offer me anything in that game. And I thought it could, but yeah, like... Light screen wasn't very essential when they... Like, the other issue is that they were Swords Dance Zacian, right? Which is fairly standard. Like, most Zacians are either Swords Dance or Substitute, so you expect one of the two. But by them having Swords Dance there meant that they were able to apply so much pressure early on. So, yeah. If I were to replay it, I'd go Incin, Zacian lead, Landorus in the back. I don't think Rillaboom offers us enough. It's just Fake Out, but it doesn't deal any damage, so we axe that. We need all the damage we can get into Zacian, so Incin, Zacian, Pelliper, Landorus would be the 4, in that order specifically. Grimmsnarl can't come out in that matchup. They just had so many special attackers in Team Preview. Both Pelly and Ludi really scared me, but it's still the Zacian lets the start of their team, and this is the difference maker, right? Like, they have better speed control, and they're faster, and they have Swords Dance to negate my Intimidate, so the combination of all 3 of those obviously didn't bode super well for us. But they played a masterful game. Like, the turn 1 play they made was, like, a little bit risky, but the thing is that their Zacian's probably... I mean, it's going to be bulky enough to take a +1 blade, right? So it's like, they're saying, okay, even if you attack me with Behemoth Blade on your Zacian, it's fine, because I can still take it. And by just going for the Protect, they got a free Swords Dance up. So I needed... My lead was super bad into Swords Dance Zacian specifically, and so I needed to contemplate, like, assess what can beat that as well as sub Zacian in Team Preview, and my lead definitely was not it. So, yeah, but props to them. That was a really cool team, and I love seeing Ludicolo thrive on their team, and I think they played, yeah, super, super well with it. And now I kind of want to try out Ludi with Pelliper and Zacian, so that's really fun to see. But that's going to be it for this one. Thanks so much as always for watching. Leave a like if you enjoy. Don't forget to answer the question of the day, and I'll see you all soon. All right, peace.